So I hear a lot from my clients that, they would like, they have so much to do. They are always so busy. There is so many things going on in their lives that they wish that they could clone themselves. And I want to start by saying that we cannot yet clone ourselves, even though sharing some responsibility sometimes is a great idea, right? But what we can do is we can use science to make your life easier. So even though you can yet clone yourself, there's some real science and incredible ways you can use it to help you to transform yourself and create more flow and ease in your everyday life. So I'm gonna ask you all to play out and have fun. That means, being here with us, paying attention, asking questions if you have any. Just raise your virtual hand like we just went over. Um, and I think it's so amazing how nowadays we hear so much about having fun. People are saying more and more that you should always have play into your life. And that is super important because enjoyment is one of the most important and rewarding parts of living. So, and if you're here today, it most likely means that you are in your own personal healing journey, you're in your growth journey, and if you've been following your path, your intention is to grow. Some of you might be here because you have young children and you want to affect them from an early age so you can not pass down the things that you learned that might not have been the best for you. Or maybe you have already grown children, but you're going in your path, and even though you cannot change what has happened and how you affect them before, you can still um, you can still show them how to do life differently. They will most definitely notice the changes on you. They will appreciate more. They will know what it means to work on yourself and transform your life. And congratulations, because you are moving from just being a part of the problem to being the solution. And you're leading by example. So, congratulations on doing it. Um, all right, there you go. Just a few house rules. Um, please stay focused for the 120 minutes or so that we're gonna be together. Try to minimize your mental distractions. I know that I do have some people that might have ADHD, traces of ADHD, and some people when you come up on workshops like that, they'll tell you, close all your tabs and whatnot. And, if you're like me, you might have 50 tabs open. So I don't know if you would like to do that. You don't have to, as long as you don't get distracted by that. You can, if you can please mute your phones. Everybody is on mute on this workshop. But if you want to speak up, raise your hand and or put it in the chat and we'll bring you up. If you want to share an aha, if you want to, be on camera for the recording, since this is being recorded, um, and you want to be spotlighted, if you don't want to be spotlighted, let me know, okay? This is all about privacy. I want you to feel as comfortable as you can while we're doing this together. Um, so like we did before, we already went over the how to raise your digital hands. If you need assistance with that, you can put in the chat. I can repeat it if necessary. Um, I'll also ask you to always keep your camera on during the workshop so we know that you're there, that we're getting engaged. We are going to go over a visualization, and it's a beautiful, beautiful experience. And I'll ask you to play full out while we're doing that. Um, you're gonna get a lot of benefit for doing that one. It's really incredible. And if you do get disconnected, please come back as soon as you can. And Nelson, my partner, he is helping us and he's watching the chat, he's watching, he's monitoring the room. So since I cannot see you all the time, he'll let me know while I'm presenting if someone wants to speak up or if any questions showed up on the chat. Um, I know that there's one participant that might not be able to be in camera because there was already other things in play, and that is okay. Just, do your best to be here as much as you can. And if you feel comfortable with sharing, I love having people sitting on the love seat. I don't call it a hot seat, right? Because everything we do here is from love and with love. So we have the love seat. Whoever wants to share, whoever wants to be a part of it and wants to share what they are feeling, their or has with the group, that's always very helpful because when you're in a group situation and you hear other people's stories, that might help you to get your own ahas. So I invite you all to share as much as you want. I'm gonna be mindful of of our time together, and I will let you know around halfway if everything is going according to plan, and we are all ready to get going. All right, so this is what we're gonna be working through this working shop. The number one reason where overwhelm leads to burnout and how you can step out of it, why sacrificing more only makes life and business worse, and my 5 steps process to begin to create a life and business of balance and ease. But even if you're not a business owner, you will get a lot of advantage from watching this workshop. Many of you are here now. More people were not able to make it, but they are watching. They're gonna be watching the recording from home. So thank you all for being here. I do appreciate you choosing to spend this time with me. And at the end, there will be a bonus to help you to eliminate whatever is that is blocking you from finding harmony easier and faster without sacrificing so much. And if you guys are okay with that, I would like to start by telling a little bit about myself because, like I said, when we share things that are personal and that happen to us, a lot of times it helps to other people to see things and find their own truths. So please allow me to do so and introduce myself. I'm gonna tell you about how finding balance after burnout played out for me, and hopefully it will be helpful for you. Hi, I'm Berenice Brito. Please call me Bibi. Um, and I grew up like many people that I've come in contact with. Like myself, many people had things while they were growing up that were not at their best interest, right? And our parents, a lot of times, didn't have a better understanding or didn't know how to do things differently. So for me, what happened, for instance, is I have a huge problem with asking for anything, asking for help, even offering things. For me, if I have to reach out to someone, is an issue because when I was growing up, I always heard that my dad used to say a lot that I don't want to tell you no, so don't even ask. And that made me learn to not ask. And I am 42 years old now. That is from when I was a kid, but it's still to this day, I feel the effects of that in my life. And I can consciously now move past that and ask when I need to. And it is a movement. It is a choice to do life differently than what I've been programmed to do, right? So, sorry, my computer is not changing the slides fast enough. Um, so what ended up happening was when I was a kid, I learned that my needs were not that important. I was always so scared of hearing the no, or disappointing my parents, making them feel bad, or, not being the good girl that I have always been. So that led me to not asking. And it also led me to feeling a lot of rejection anytime that someone expressed displeased with something, or someone expressed or told me no. And every time that happened, a lot of drama would come into my own life. My mom, on the other hand, which amazingly looked out and provided for five children on her own, worked like crazy. She was working over 60 hours every week, and she was doing her best to do the best she could for us. But for me, as a child, that felt as my mom is never there. I was always with nannies. I was being watched over by the nurses at the hospital that she worked at, because one of the ways for me to be with her during the weekends was to go and stay in the hospital with her, because she would work from Friday night and all the way to Monday morning. And that was the only way that we could connect. When she had the breaks at work, I would spend time with her. But the times that I was not with her, I went to the nursery. I always loved hanging out with babies. I would sing for them. The nurses liked when I was there, because I would like take the load off for them as well, because I was helping out. And amazingly enough, or weirdly enough, however you want to see it, but even though I've always loved babies so much, I spent most of my life not wanting children. I did not want to have any children of my own, and that was up until I was almost 30 years old. And it has to do with my upbringing and with all the disappointments, or all the things that I felt that were not that amazing, right? And that's a picture of a rainbow, double rainbows, because that's one of the things that I love. One of the things that I love seeing the most. And I don't really have many pictures of myself when I was a kid. Maybe that's why I take so many of my kid. I think I have over 40,000 pictures on my phone. So that feeling of always being abandoned and neglected, when all that I wanted was to feel heard, was to feel seen, was to feel like I had a support system that wasn't there. And now, as a grown up, I've learned that I have ADHD, and that comes with rejection sensitive dysphoria, which most likely made all of those feelings even worse. And all of that story made me think that I've always have to do everything on my own. I shouldn't need anybody to help me. I shouldn't have to go to anybody for help. And it always felt like if I had to, it was a weakness, it was being a failure, it was because I was incapable of making on my own, or maybe because I was a burden. And, because of the don't ask, I don't want to say no. Why bother asking, right? That led me to not really have a voice. Um, I became a people pleaser. I was always trying to prove my worth by saying yes to everybody, but never to myself. I would do everything for everybody, and I would cut back my sleep time. I would skip on meals. I would do whatever I had to do to please people, not looking out for myself. And I had no idea how to set boundaries or to prioritize my own needs, because back then, deep down, I believed that I wasn't worth it. Fast forward to adulthood, that is still followed me. When I found out I was pregnant, that was a huge change in my life. Um, but even by then, I was so rattled every time that I had to speak up. Doing something like this, maybe 5 years ago, would be something impossible for me. Every time that I had to speak to an audience, two, three people even, my voice would get all shaky, my heart rate would speed up, my hands would tremble, like in class when I wanted to answer a question because I knew the answer and I wanted to be recognized by knowing it, right? Which is one of the things that leads us to speak up. I would push myself and do it, but my voice was always like so terrible that I was very self-conscious about that. And on the week I was going to apply for an anesthetist position, which is the nurses that can give anesthesia and whatnot, which is a very common path for nurses that work in ICU. I found out I was pregnant, and then I was faced with a choice. To go for anesthetist school, I would be working about 60 to 70 hours a week. So I would have been in the same place that my mom was when she had me. And I didn't want to do that. I didn't want I did not want to be that mom that is always too busy and that is never there for their children. So I chose to prioritize my time with my child so I could be with him. And I chose to do that over making more money because back then I believed the lie that I had to choose the either or. It was either money or having a happy family. And now I know that that is one of the biggest limiting beliefs there is. All the limiting beliefs that are either or, they tend to be lies. They tend to be, at least partially, they are lies. We'll get more into limiting beliefs as we move along. But even after I made that decision, my life didn't magically become easy, right? This is me 3.5 years ago. No, sorry, 4 years ago. That was on my son's second birthday. And that was a big wake up call for me because my friend took that picture and I told her, "Oh no, please, can you erase it? I look so fat." And she told me, my love, and I know that she did it with the best of intentions. She said, "Honey, you don't look fat. You are fat." I had gained over 50 pounds in less than a year because I was so unhappy. My whole life was unhappy. My body was paying and showing the symptoms of all the stress and all the overwhelm that I was living back then. My my hands, they got really bad. That's the same day. During that party, it was a Mickey theme, if you can tell, right? Disney theme for the children. And my hands on that party day, because I was doing things for the party, was so bad that at the end of it, I couldn't even close my hands. I don't know if you guys can see it, but like I have very deep lines because those all open up. It was like big cuts that I had on my skin, and that was all the somatization, which is the physical manifestation of things that are going on inside of you. And I knew that being silent, not speaking up for my needs, not really getting the help I needed was making me die inside. It was like slowly killing me. And I do believe that when we live with a lot of lies and we don't trust ourselves, we don't believe in ourselves, we pay the price. Our bodies pay the price, the people around us pay the price. I chose that I could not continue like that. And when it came to a point that I really, really needed the support of my spouse at the time, he was not there for me. And that for me was my critical point. It was when I made the decision that no matter that I had, no matter that I had so much fear of being alone because I had seen how being alone plays out in someone very dear to me that was alone for many, many years. My mom, her and my dad broke up when I was 6, and they stayed separated for 35 years. She never dated again. She never had another relationship. And I feared that if I broke up that relationship, I would end up the same. But not having my needs met on a time that was so essential for me. I was a nurse at ICU in the middle of COVID. I got sick. I was for about 10 days. I could not get near my son because it was right at the beginning, and we are hearing that kids are dying because of COVID and things were going insane. And I ended up needing my husband's help to watch over my son because I could not get near him because I was afraid that I could kill my son by being in his vicinity, right? And I know that a lot of people felt the same when they were going through COVID and going through the stress of that time that was worldwide. Everybody was overwhelmed, stressed, freaking out. And he did not even allow me to have the time to recuperate. I had to come out of my isolation before time because he could not keep up with me not being the one in charge and doing everything in the house. So that for me, it was my critical point. I think that your critical point is that moment in life that you can say you hit rock bottom. And when that happens, you have two options. You can either choose to keep going the same way as you are, and many times that means differently for people, but sometimes it does mean that slow death, or you can choose to change. So I chose to change. I got a divorce, I left him, and I started my life all on my own. I was working full time as a nurse. I was building my business. I was learning coaching. I was going to school, working two jobs, being a single mom without any support system. My whole family is in Brazil. Um, my parenting with my ex husband until February of this year, it was a co parenting nightmare. We could not really um, have, you know, a normal conversation. So I had zero support from him. The only person that was able to support me was my friend, the same one that was like, my love, it's not an image. It is what the reality is. But I'll tell you that when my friend told me that, I hadn't even realized that I had gained that much weight. I was so hidden inside of myself that I did not even see that when I looked into the mirror until I came in contact with that truth. So that's why truths are so important, because when you hear a truth, it resonates with you. I have goosebumps all over. It resonates with you. You feel like a light bulb goes off, and that's what the amazingness of truths are. Are you guys hearing any feedback from my mic? No? Okay. So, I was burning the candle at both ends, right? I was running on 4 to 5 hours of sleep. I was fueled by caffeine and sheer willpower. And I can drink coffee. I've drank before, if you guys know coladas. My record is 4 of those in a day, which I mean like the whole cup, not sharing with 10 people. A whole cup and 3 Red Bulls in a period of 24 hours, just to keep myself going. And then again, I was saying yes to everybody except to myself. I was giving all to both of my careers, but it never felt like it was enough. I didn't feel that I was doing enough for my kid. I felt like I was a failure as a mother. I wasn't showing up for him the way that I want. And I felt that I had to do more and more, and that was just putting me more and more in overwhelm. I ended up having panic attacks. I had four of them in a year. One of them happened when I was working a shift in the urgent care. By then, I had shifted from ICU to urgent care, and I actually ended up occupying a patient's bed because I had a panic attack during a shift. And I was out of it for about 3 hours that I could not work. And I, instead of doing what I was there to do, which was to care for people, I needed people to care for me because I wasn't taking care of myself. And that's when it hit me that a huge problem, one of my biggest problems was my inability to put my trust in others and ask for help. That is a picture of my car. I love my car. And I've always been a very good driver. I've never gotten in accidents before. With that car, I got those twice, I hit it twice just because I was so out of myself that accidents happen, right? Like I couldn't control myself. And the one from the back of the bottom picture, it was a day that I had asked my friend to pick up my son from school because I was working and I had
or
to leave
maybe
to
because I
go
was
take.
pregnant and because of the
I'm sorry, guys, 1 second because I think it's getting feedback, right? Sorry, technology is amazing, but sometimes is not so fun. I apologize. Let me get back here so I can. Okay, I'm muted. Okay, that is fixed. All right. Um, so I was leave I had to leave work because I had for the second time in a year asked a friend of mine to pick up my son in school. But that for me was so stressful that when I left work, I was so flabbergasted that I backed up without looking behind me and I hit a pillar. And you know what? It sucks. It sucks seeing that mark in my car, but at the same time, I think that that saved my life because I was in such a condition that if I had gotten behind the wheel and gotten into traffic at that point, I could have injured myself or injured someone else, or maybe even worse. Stress is real, overwhelm is real. Back then, I didn't even know that I was burnout. And that's one of the scariest things about burning out. When you live in overwhelm for a long time, you get used to that overwhelm. And since I had spent my whole life believing I had to do it all alone, and that voicing my wants or asking for anything was wrong, I was just trying to do everything by myself. But I was wrong. I was sabotaging myself. I was making life much harder than it had to be. I didn't have to choose between being a successful entrepreneur, a professional, and a present mother. I didn't have to prove myself by doing it all without support. And I didn't have to suffer in silence anymore. When I finally let go of that need to do everything on my own, everything changed in my life. I embraced help. I built a support system. I learned that it's more than okay to ask for help. It is necessary. And many of those lessons came from having a real partner. I have an amazing man that is perfect for me. I say that our imperfections fit together like a puzzle piece. We are not perfect, but we are all whole and complete on our own. But there is always a space for improvement. And I believe that relationships is, especially a partnership, is all about strengthening and supporting each other, is about complementing what the other person is missing. Many of us go through a process of learning to trust before we can actually have healthy and supportive and amazing relationships because we don't trust ourselves and we don't trust other people. So, part of getting to engage in relationships differently is building up that trust with yourself and with others. Now I've created the balance that I've always dreamed of. I have a beautiful business that fulfills me and allows me to be the mother that I want to be. I've learned that I can have both. I can have a successful career and a deeply connected personal life. I refuse to continue to live in the way I once did, and I refuse to let anyone else believe that they have to either. I hear all the time from my clients that they have so much to do. They're always busy. It's like, hi, how are you doing? Well, I'm busy. I'm busy. And if that's you, if you're someone that is always busy, there is always so much to do. You're not completing your lists. Your to-do list is like never ending. There's always more stuff, and you always feel like you can't catch up. Overwhelm is very real. But a lot of times, like I said, we don't even know that we are living in overwhelm. So I hope that this workshop helps you to see and analyze where you are in your journey, where you are in your life. You don't have to do it alone. I've seen many people at the end of their lives work. I worked a decade as an ICU nurse, and from everything that I've heard, all the conversations that I had with them, the one thing that matters the most is the people that you have around you, is the memories that you make with them, and the memories that you make with yourself. How you feel about yourself when you get at that stage matters. And we are not meant to roam this earth alone. Humans are creatures of connections. We live and grow by relating to other people and by learning from that. And this is not all about romantic partnerships. There's so many different kinds of partnerships and relationships out there. There is romantic partners, there's family, your children, your parents, friends, business partners, co-workers, and one of the most important ones, your relationship with yourself. So that's part of what we're going to be talking about today. When you create strong connections within those relationships, your business, your family, and you all benefit from it. You don't have to live in overwhelm. You can have the life that you truly want, a life where you thrive both in business and in your personal life. I'm here to help you to see that it's possible to do that. You can break free from the limiting beliefs that have been holding you back and step into a life of balance, ease, and abundance. And it always starts with realizing that asking for what you need is not a weakness. It is the first step towards creating the life you deserve. To make this possible, you should work on your mental fortitude, your emotional regulation, and your capacity to relate to yourself and to others. It involves self awareness, it involves your communication skills, considering other people's perspectives, using healthy boundaries, and overcoming your fears. And when I talk about overcoming fears, it's not about like overcoming the fear of snakes or spiders or something that is not in your day to day life, but a fear of failing, a fear of relying on others, a fear of trusting your own judgments. We are all different. Each one of us have our own specific luggage, our baggage to work through. But it's through working on it and looking where we avoid looking the most that we find our answers. So, in the Being Harmony workshop, we'll talk about the you now, the future you that you want to be, the gap between those two, what actionable steps you can take to get there. And at the end, we're going to make a commitment to ourselves. Most people have heard about limiting beliefs before. For those of you who aren't familiar, those are the beliefs created by past experiences that still exist inside of you and that are hindering your life. Things like, I'm not enough, I'm not a good mom, I'm unsafe, I can't having a thrive business and a happy family, I have to choose between love and money, or rich people are bad, or money makes people be bad. Limiting beliefs are, like I said before, at least partially lies, if not full on lies. And most of our limiting beliefs, they are attached to fear. So today I'm going to show you how you can face your fear and overcome it with love. Being in a vibration of love allows you to respond instead of reacting. That for me means taking a breath and answering how you want to, but not how you've been conditioned or triggered to answer. It's about consciously doing so. It's about consciously choosing how you gonna respond to any given situation. It also helps you to learn to use discernment instead of judgment. We make decisions based on our opinions, based on our knowledge, based on several different things. So saying, don't judge yourself. Yes, don't judge yourself through the negative lenses of seeing the bad parts of it, but use discernment to see what is supportive and what's unsupportive for you. And it also helps you to create behavioral flexibility, which is a part of acting differently according to the situation. And that is why I believe that living in love is so important for our growth, loving other people, loving ourselves. And life gets easier when you love living it. And one of the areas that love reigns is in relationships, right? Like I said, with a partner, family, friends, your children, and yourself. Your big why, your big why comes from a relationship. We'll explore more of that at depth today. This workshop is very interactive, so I would like you to do an experiment with me. You guys on board? All right. So I'm gonna ask you to move your chair back a little bit if you can, if you have space, just so you can put your hand in front of the computer, but like being above you. Let me see how I can make that happen right here. So you put your hand in front of you, in front and above, sort of like at a 2 o'clock. I assume it's a 2 o'clock that you can see your pinky and you can see your thumb pointing up. All right. So when you put your left hand up, now I will ask you to focus on your and spread your fingers wide so your pinky is pointing down and your thumb is pointing up. We'll take your pinky to be your fears because your fears tend to bring you down, right? So stare at your pinky. Just look at the tip of your pinky. While you're doing that, how does your thumb look like without moving your eyes from the tip of your pinky? Can you see your thumb? No? No? Can you see your thumb well? When you stretch your hand out far from you and up, like at 2 o'clock, that seems kind of fuzzy, right? Like when you're looking at it, it's very hard to see your thumb because when you're looking down, your vision is shortened, it's focused, it's narrowed. Now let's do the opposite. Look up into your thumb. Look at the tip of your thumb. Can you still see your pinky? When you're doing that, you can see that looking at your thumb, it's okay, you guys can put your hands down. That was the exercise. It's just to change perspective. And I came up with it one time when I was explaining to my son what it is to live in fear. That's why the pinky is your fears, right? Your fears tend to bring you down. Your thumb is love. Love, when you're looking up, you're always moving to the higher vibrations. When you're looking up, you get a bird's eye view. If you're doing that exercise correctly, you should have seen that your thumb, you can see when you're focusing on your thumb, you can still see your pinky. You can still see your fears. You can still recognize that they are there. But when you're looking at at your pinky, because you're looking at that lower setting, your narrowed vision doesn't allow you to see what else is there. So when you look up, you can see all that lies in between your thumb and your pinky. You get more possibilities in your life. You can see those possibilities better because fears, for me at least, they are guides, they are warning signs. And we all have fears, but letting your fears hinder you from having the life that you want to have is not working in your favor, is not being supportive of you. This is something that it's a little technique that is just to show that perspective, but physiologically it is true and proven that every time that you look up, you widen your horizons, you increase your view. When you shift your attention to experiencing the world with more love, that's a game changer. You move from expectations and uncertainty to agreement and security, from assuming to asking questions, from trying to do everything on your own and completing your to do list to do what is most important to get done. Living in fear might be killing you softly, might be preventing you from experiencing the full experience of what living truly means. And we are in this place to learn and grow. So I believe that a big part of learning is to grow beyond our fears. And now that we have all like being caught on camera trying to do the hand up thing, I hope that you're all set up for a good experience. At least make some laughs at that. It's just a different perspective of seeing things. Now let's explore why that happens. Why burnout happens. It happens because we don't know ourselves, because we don't see our limits, because we pay too much on our plate, because we get stuck in the doing wheel. We keep doing more and more things to change our lives. We keep on doing more than we should, and we keep feeling shitty for the things that we can't get to doing that are on our list, but it never gets to the point of having time to getting them done. So we don't know what our priorities means, what our priorities are. And the magic happens when you can pivot from that doing into being more attuned to yourself, being brave, being who you truly are in your soul. Now, I do believe that the best way to experience life is do less, be more, and you can have it all. When we feel overwhelmed, it's because we have too many thoughts racing in our brain. If we don't organize these thoughts, we'll remain overwhelmed and never really create the results that we want. So you can ask me, how does overwhelm lead to burnout? When you keep doing the same things for so long, you get used to that and you miss out on all the warning signs that you're going through it, like I did. I had no idea I was on full blown burnout. My car was proof of that. And yet, I was not aware. I was just doing things like I had always done before. So, if you feel overwhelmed by having too much to do all the time, if you always describe your life as busy, 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 I need you to know that what you're used to, it is not all that there is. So I ask you to please look inside. Don't let get to a point where your life is on the line. I still don't like the dent on my car, but I'm still thankful that it pointed me to how my emotional state was back then. And that never ending to the list, that is not the reason why you're in burnout. That is a symptom of being in burnout. It is a tangible manifestation of the chaos that you have inside of yourself. I'm Brazilian, so I thought that, carnival, if you guys know what carnival is in Brazil, it's like a crazy party, lots of music, lots of dancing, lots of colors, lots of energy, lots and lots and lots. And for me, that describes very well what that mental overwhelm is, right? Having that internal chaos going on inside of you. When your internal landscape is filled with noise and distraction, it becomes increasingly difficult to manage your external responsibilities effectively. So, you constantly feel tired when you're in burnout, your emotions are most likely dysregulated, your days never feel long enough, even when you skip some sleep. And then you're not resting enough. You're sacrificing your health. You're sacrificing your well being. You're sacrificing the connection that you have with those around you that matter. And bringing about a chronic fatigue and a decreased capacity to enjoy life, which ends up leaving you feeling drained and sometimes completely depleted. Some days I didn't want to get out of bed. I had no energy. On my breaks, on my days off, sometimes it was hard to get up. And a lot of people face that. So much in life might not seem like enough, but that is not you. I need you to know that you are enough. So many people believe that they are not enough. You were born being enough. You just have to remember it. And it's part of the process of going through your journey and uncovering those deep truths that you have inside of yourself. And yet, the enough comes from the nothingness, comes from burning that candle at both ends. And even though burnout is real, and you might see yourself there, or maybe thinking that you might be heading in that direction, or maybe not even really know that you're there. After this, you have a better idea and you can still make the changes in your life that you need in order to allow yourself to escape that burnout once and for all. And I'm gonna tell you why this is not your fault. Why this happens? Your current circumstances are most likely driven by your unconscious. Your unconscious programs, they are based primarily on what you experience between 0 and 7 years old, because that is the time that you're in the imprinting period. That means that there is no separation between your conscious and your unconscious mind. And everything that you see, everything that you feel, everything that happens around you, you just suck it in and you pull it into yourself, just like a sponge. From the ages of 8 to 14, you're in the modeling phase. You're learning for all the role models around you, people in school, parents, friends. From 14 to 21, you're socializing and absorbing more programming and forming your own values, creating your own personality that you're gonna take on for life. And after that, you bring more of the business learnings, everything that you experience through mentoring and through trainings and classes that you engage as a professional adult. And this all means that you've learned by example, or what we call conditioning. You have been led to believe things that are not true about yourself. And we all have been conditioned throughout our lives, and this conditioning shows up in our current day to day. Water, drinking water is so important. So I'll take some water breaks. If you guys need it, please do so too. So, how that shows up, right? If you have children, you working on yourself is extremely important because you might impact any of those stages that your kids are going through. What kind of example you wish to set? Nowadays, most people always have their phones with them, right? So even if I'm not actually engaging on my phone, like if even if I'm not really doing anything with my phone, if I'm just like all the time with my phone when I'm supposed to be having quality time with someone else, if I'm just like holding my phone up, making sure that I'm not getting any notifications, make sure there is no messages coming, or if it's just by the habit of having in your hand, the simple fact that that phone is in your hand, it transmits a message to the other person that's interacting with you that you're not 100% there with them. Now I'm learning. I don't have my phone with me all the time. When I choose to have moments that are real moments to be present, fully present, my phone is put away. So, just food for thought, right? And as your child becomes an adult, their programming is set. Unless they do their own conscious work, they will keep repeating the cycles. This is what we call generational cycle because it is passed out generation by generation because usually we teach to our children and we do to our children what we had our parents do with us. Or maybe we go to the opposite side if we don't like what our parents did to us. But it's not about being in the opposites. It's not about repeating the same. It's not about doing the opposite. It's finding the happy medium that is true for you and that you believe that will benefit your child the most. Now, if your child is grown, if your if your progeny is already an adult and they can no longer change how their conditioning is going through your actions, they're still gonna notice your commitment to yourself and how your choice to transform yourself plays out on you. And that will strengthen the relationships that you have with each other. So, here it begs the question, who do you want to be? Will it be you who breaks that generational cycle? So, to start looking at that, we're gonna look into you, the current you, who you are right now. You only find true happiness when you're clear on what matters to you. I know that for me, being a mom mattered the world. Before that, I wasn't really sure about my why. I was just going. I was just moving, going through the days, but I didn't have a north star. And motherhood allowed me to find my north star. If I were to ask you now, what matters to you the most? What would you say? I just want to say that I'm going to be asking you a lot of questions throughout this workshop, and most of them are just to light up the neurology in your brain so you can come up with your own answers. The other times, you're going to be able to participate if you want. You can pop up. Those are going to be more during the activities, but I'll definitely point out those moments. On the other ones, it is more about, self-awareness. It's for you to, after you start thinking about it, it is easier for you to come up with your own conclusions. So when I ask you about what matters to you the most, do you know what the answer to that is? And are your actions aligned to that? It's very important to know your big why so you can be in alignment with yourself. And why that matters to you this is the thing that fuels you is the finding it involves the deep reflection and exploration of your values, your passions, your goals. And here are some more questions to ponder. What is it that is most important to you? What do you love doing? How did your experiences shape who you are today? What legacy you want to leave behind? What would you make what would make you the happiest 10 years from now. Some people can do this deeper reflection all on their own. Others need some guidance. And if you're navigating your life and business and you're not in alignment with your big why, you will be pulled towards everybody else's whys, meeting their
Yeah.
needs. Chris, honey, I think you're unmuted. All right, sorry about that. So, we're doing good on time. We're gonna be maybe a couple minutes late. I hope you guys are okay with that. We shouldn't be going much over the time. Let's now explore what is it that you're bringing home. Are you bringing home the leftovers of your day? Like when you get home, are you so tired that you're out of patience? That you're like, are you triggered? Like anything can set you off? I hear from many entrepreneurs that they bring home a shell of themselves. And that's not fair to you. That's not fair to your family. I was not showing up for my son the way I wanted to because I was like that. I would lose my temper super fast. I would get very triggered very fast. I would um, sometimes I would scream. Sometimes I would just get overwhelmed and flabbergasted and not really be able to make the appropriate choices. Because when your emotions are going very high, your rational, the rational part of your brain goes down. So when your emotions are driving you, a lot of times you don't make the best decisions. You say things that you don't really want to do, say, you do things that you don't really want to do or that you shouldn't do. And if you were in control of yourself, you wouldn't do or say. I didn't want to keep living like that. So I realized that that was all caused by always giving and giving and giving because I've been a giver my entire life and I want to keep giving. But back then, I was giving from an empty cup. And the secret lies in having your cup always filled because then you give from an overflow instead of depleting the little you have. I call that being a selfish giver. And I know that selfish has like a bad connotation a lot of times, but when I say being a selfish giver, just means looking at yourself as well before you make choices, before you give to others, because before you look into other people, look inside, look into you. And another way to keep your cup always filled is by having your love tank always full. So, let me ask some important questions about that to light up that neurology. What percentage of your time are you allocating for free time? What percentage of your time are you allocating for family time, for your health, for your business? If there isn't a healthy balance, what kind of example are you setting up for them? So we have a little activity we're gonna drop on the chat now, a little poll just to make it easier. And it's just so we can all have a better idea, right? So you can have a better idea of, there you go. You should have received that poll now. It's a multiple questions. And just to make it very easy, answering those questions that I just put it up so you can have more awareness about your own life. Now, If anybody in this time wants to come up, say something, if you have any questions, or if you want to share something that you realized an aha moment, we're here for you. So please come up if you want to sit in our love seat. Just keeping this space open. You're also not pressured to do so.
Hey everyone, my name is Miguel, and I just answered the poll, and I have all the free time in the world for myself. And as soon as I'm finished with this, I'm heading to the beach, and that's something that I want to do, and I feel so happy. So yay me!
That is awesome, Miguel. That's really, really good. And I know I see your posts online and they are always so amazing. I see that you take so many adventures and see beautiful places and you're living life. That is amazing. Congratulations. So just a couple more minutes. Let's see. Just giving time for people to finish up. They are going for they're filling it out. Good water break. And we are going to, at the end, when we make our commitment to ourselves, like I said, the best way to do that and make it more important, like more valid, more stronger for you. The best way is to write that down. Write that commitment down. So if you wanna take this time that you're waiting to go grab a piece of paper and a pen, you can do so. So when we are talking about, keeping your love tank full, that can happen depending on your connection to yourself and to others. Some people are very happy and they have their tanks filled all by themselves. They choose to not be in a romantic relationships, um, or they get that connection power with their children, or like I said, just with themselves sometimes. It's all about knowing what is true for you and what helps you the most. All right? So, does anybody want us to keep waiting, or are you guys good with the poll? If we can finish, okay, we're gonna move on. If someone doesn't want that, you can either speak up or put your digital hand up, and we'll wait a little bit more for you. No? All right, so we're gonna stop it now. Thank you for everybody that answered. So now let's look into the future you. Who you want to become. It's important to visualize what a life would look like. Sorry. Who's sharing? It's important to visualize what a life filled with balance is. That balance and that equilibrium that you can get. Maybe you're not even sure if getting there is possible. So that's why it's so important to know, you know, when was the last time you did something for you? When was the last time you spent quality time with the people you love? When was the last time that you hung out with your friends? If you're a girl, when was the last time you got your nails done? That for me is so important. Maybe it's not for you, and that's okay. It's about knowing what's important for you and chasing that, like Miguel is doing. He enjoys doing what he's doing now, and he's putting his time and enjoying the life so he can get the best out of it. What would it happen if you found that balance? Would there be fear that if you made the changes of the status quo, everything would fall apart? So many entrepreneurs can't even conceive losing everything that they invested. So many fear that their income is gonna drop, that their business is gonna suffer. They fear failing more than all. And a lot of times they don't take chances because they're fearing the failure. But the worst part of fear is when all those fears make you end up losing the people that you love the most. Some people end up having broken down families because they didn't realize that they could do something about it. They didn't know how to make it better. So, if you are afraid that that might be happening, or if you think that that is something that is affecting you now, let's look into fear. But first, let me ask you a question. Are you also afraid that nothing will change? Creating balance is all about self setting those healthy boundaries that we talk about, right? So that once you keep making the same conscious decisions with the assistance of those boundaries, you will eventually make that decision become unconscious. You don't have to make it happen anymore. It just happens because it's your normal. When I put my son to bed, it feels amazing. I love reading with him. I do some. Nowadays he does some. He's in first grade, so he's learning to read, and for me it's amazing to go through that with him. I've always been a reader. I think reading is so joyful, and I want him to feel that way too. But more than that, I love knowing that every night his day ends with a meditation to take him into the dreamland, a meditation that I made up for him. And he asks for it every night for his bubble of protection. So it's cool how whatever techniques and things that we learn through our journey, how we can implement that with our family, how we can, teach our children and change their lives. And when they start early, like that is my big goal. I want my son to not have to go through everything that I did to feel better. I felt like I had a very big luggage. My baggage was intense. I don't want him to have such an intense baggage. And I believe the world is for, the next generations. So the more we do it, the more they see us do it, the earlier they start on, the better it is for them. And I'm everything that I do, homework, um, watching him grow, playing, spending time together, quality time together. That's all a non-negotiable for me because I feel like I am playing the part of the mom that I want to be. I'm doing what I set out to do. Are you playing yours? How are you showing up, with your kids? How are you showing up with your partner? With any type of relationship, it's important to have a conscious intention to have quality time together. Even if that's not your love language, right? Quality time together still matters because it's when you're making those memories together. A partnership, like, you know, we spoke before, is about complementing and supporting each other. Carl Jung said that our inner self will be mirrored back in our relationships so we can heal. He also said that you marry your unconscious because people often select people that embodies elements of their own unconscious mind. Most times, unknowingly. And this leads to both growth and challenge within the relationship. And we're gonna get more into talking about the unconscious in just a little bit. But this could show up as having a regular date night and making that a non negotiable for you. Once a week, once a month. However, it is that it fits your life, your dreams. Even sitting down together every night without any screen, not watching TV together, but actually talking, noticing what's going on with each other daily, you know, and making that a non negotiable. Or anything else that matters to you that you intend to do together, but that could be overridden by work. How can you make that a priority to you? Also, it's very important to remember about being present with that person, right? There's many different ways of being present. It's about focusing and paying attention to what they're talking. It's about not being distracted by something else. It's about really engaging with them and experiencing that moment together. So, now we have another activity, and this is that visualization that I was telling you about. It is gonna be from being from a fearful place of not getting your results to seeing your results through love lenses. And it's all about, either being in fear or in flow and alignment, which comes with love. So this exercise will contain hypnotic language, so please avoid listening to it while you're driving or operating any machinery. If you are, please stop the recording now. It is not safe. You can come back later, or just, don't be paying attention because I don't want you to get into a relaxed state while you're unsafe to do so. All right? For everybody else that are gonna go into this activity, I want you to think of a goal that you have, something that you want to achieve. Do you guys want to do a quick bio break? Are you guys doing good? You guys ready to get into this activity? Okay. All right, perfect. All right, so we'll keep going. So think about a goal that you have. Life can be scary sometimes, and a beautiful way of facing your fears is to look. And we'll start with seeing the fear, and then the magic is gonna happen, and you'll come out on the other side knowing what you'll be leaving behind while you move into the beauty that awaits you in the other side. I believe in conquering our fears through love. So sit back comfortably, close your eyes, and listen. Breathe in, breathe out the tension. Let rattling thoughts go. You can deal with them later. Feel your body. Notice your legs touching the chair, the air touching your skin. Breathe in and breathe the tension out. Feel your body relaxing with the sound of my voice. Breathe in and breathe the rest of that tension out. That's right. You're safe and relaxing. I'm going to count back from 5. With every number I count down, you feel more and more relaxed. 5, so relaxed. 4, 3, 10 times more relaxed. 2, 1, that's right. You are very relaxed. Visualize a place that is beautiful to you. What do you see around you? What do you hear? What can you smell? Is it warm? Do you feel a breeze? How does being in this beautiful place make you feel? Relaxed, warm, comfortable? Now I want you to picture your goal. Picture yourself walking towards it. And you try, and you try. You are giving your all, and you're not achieving it. Create a picture of what that looks like. How does it look like to not get that result? How does it look like to fail in reaching that goal? How does it look like to others? How does it look to yourself? To be unworthy of prosperity or love or success? To appear like you're all alone and no one is coming to help you? It's okay. Allow yourself to look. This is a safe space, and see how it looks in that picture. A Polaroid floating in front of you. See the fear you've been avoiding for so long. What it looks like to have tried so hard to make this result happen and it's staying away from you. What does it look like not deserving it? Really stare at it. Face it. Face this picture of what you've been running from or what you've been pushing away all this time. It's so dreary, colorless in front of you in this picture, like a big black and white Polaroid that you could reach out and touch it if you wanted to. Now, off in the distance, at the top right, you can see another picture. It's smaller, about a third of the size of the one that is in front of you right now, because it's further away. When you look at it, you can see in that picture that you are achieving the result you want. You are making the money you've dreamed of making. You are the amazing relationship that you always wanted. You run an incredible business that makes lots of money and truly helps people. You have the balance, the energy, and the vitality that you need to live the life that you desire. When you look at this picture, you feel alive, fulfilled, proud, and unstoppable. It feels amazing to be living and breathing the result of what you wanted. As you look at it, you find yourself breathing deeply. Your shoulders are back, your head is high, and you're breathing full, confident breaths in and out. Maybe you even start to realize that there is a smile starting to grow across your face because you're so incredibly happy and proud and grateful for what you see there. You absolutely love the way it feels to achieve this result, and nothing you can imagine would get in the way of this feeling. As you continue to look at this picture, you notice that it's beginning to move slightly closer to you, too slowly. As you keep looking at it, you notice the feelings of confidence, accomplishment, and invincibility are only getting stronger because you've decided that you wanted something, you went for it, and you achieved it. It's all right there in that picture, and you keep looking at that picture, and you can't believe that the feelings grow even more. Wow. You feel so incredibly good knowing that anything you focus on and set your mind to, you can achieve because you're so incredibly resourceful and capable and worthy. As the picture of you achieving this result keeps moving towards you ever so slowly, you'll notice that when you really take it in, you feel so very proud of yourself because you know in your heart that you deserve it. That all the people who matter, the people who really count, have stuck by you and always will, no matter what. And you feel completely aware of all the love that you already carry inside of you. Love for yourself, love for others. And you know with complete confidence that you'll never ever leave you. You have it all. Everything that you need within you to achieve anything that you set your mind to. And it feels amazing. Now, what I want you to do is to see yourself in your mind's eyes, sitting there in that beautiful place with these two pictures in front of you. The small one that contains you achieving the result you want, the one that makes you feel so good, is off to the top right corner of your vision. And the picture of you filled with fear, the larger picture, is right in front of you. And very quickly, when I tell you to, I want you to switch the two pictures as fast as you can so that you pull forward the picture of the result you do want and snap it into place right in front of you, large and in color, while at the same time you take the picture of what you fear and push it back off into the horizon at the top left hand corner of your vision. And I want you to switch these pictures, and as fast as you can do it, do it. Switch those pictures, and I want you to snap them into place. Are you ready? Let's do it now. Every time that I say switch, switch the pictures, even though you just switch them, you notice that the pictures don't want to stay put right away. They seem to want to slowly go back to the positions they were before. You notice that they do this. They go back. So what do? You switch them again. Do it now. As fast as you can go. Snap! Then do it again. Snap! Then do it again. Snap! And again. Snap! 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 One more time. Snap! And now, as you wait for a moment, you feel really fantastic because you can see that beautiful picture of you achieving the result you desire. And all the feelings of confidence and pride and accomplishment that go with it. That picture is right in front of you and is staying there. It is now stuck in place, right in front of you. When you think of that result you desire, the money you want to make, the amazing relationship you want to have, the incredible business you want to run that makes a lot of money and truly helps people, and the balanced energy and the vitality that you want to have to live the life that you desire. When you think about that result, you can see it and it's right in front of you. And as you see it, and every time you even think about it, you feel it in every fiber of your being, how clear and confident and focused you are, how deserving you are, and how loved you are by the people around you who matter the most. This is your destiny. This is who you are. So take a nice deep breath in, and as you do, let that other picture, this small one that's off to the horizon, you notice that is now faded and paper thin. And now you just let that picture fade away. You know it's no longer needed, and you've pretty much completely forgotten about it now. Because this other picture, the one that is in front of you right now, that is staying firmly in place, is actually moving even closer to you, and you welcome it. It's so clear now, even more vibrant, and it's even coming alive. It's animated, just like a movie. It is so lifelike, and you step right into it. You own it. It's yours. So take another deep breath in now. And another one. Nice exhale. And as you do, you can start to wake up. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Become aware of your body, aware of the room you're sitting in, and when you're ready, you can slowly open your eyes, feeling balanced, rejuvenated, and refreshed. Welcome back! Welcome back! How did that feel? Does anybody want to share?
I want to share. I couldn't get into the meditation because I think initially you started off with like seeing yourself from a position of like maybe fear, and I just couldn't envision myself in fear, and so I couldn't get into the meditation because I just see myself winning so much. Yeah, so that's the part I wanted to share.
That is amazing! Wow, that's incredible, Miguel. That is wow, that is really spectacular. So good. this is made to change the perspectives, right? Most people do have fears. I didn't know that you amazingly don't have one, and that is phenomenal. I'm so happy for you. That is such a
No,
powerful place to come from.
no, I do have fears. I just don't give them any power.
Okay. I can understand that, but that's why I when I preframed it, is just to see that happening. But what you do is you take that completely away by finishing it. Like in the middle, we switch them up, and that fear disappears. So it's okay if you felt like it wasn't for you. You always listen to you, right? You always listen to your body. You listen to your mind. If that doesn't resonate, you did perfect. I'm glad that you chose to step out. If it was like that's not for me, that is awesome. So there's a couple people raising their hands. I'll put Chris first because she popped up first. So Chris, can you come up? Do you want me to spotlight you?
It doesn't matter, whatever you want to do,
Okay.
but I just wanted to say I really appreciated that. I've never done one like that before, BB, and it was really helpful for me because I definitely have a big fear. So it was helpful to visualize that big fear and then do the switching of the picture. I really liked that a lot. So I wish that I was handling my fear like Miguel, but am not, so it was valuable for me. So thank you.
You're very welcome, love. Everybody's at a different stage of their journeys, right? And like I said, most of us do have fears. And we do give it space in our minds, right? Like everybody's moving at different speeds, everybody's at different points. And that's why doing this work, right? When we're in a group setting, it's different because we try to reach everybody. But when you go through it on one to one, for instance, it is all tailored exactly for you. So thank you for coming up to Chris. I appreciate that. Tony, you're coming up next.
Hey, I'd like to say hello to my family member, Chris Graham. How you doing, Chris? Um, yes, the squish pattern was awesome. It's just part of the visualization. Some people can visualize deep, some can't, but it's good to go into that swish pattern. I like how you did the swish pattern. I like the tonality and the sound of your voice as you was doing it. And also I like the disassociated and associated part where you see the box to the right and then see it small, and then the other side's bigger and larger. And I like seeing how you did that and how you brought it together. So that was a powerful exercise. And, you know, if we was to practice that more often in our lives, it'll help us strengthen our visualization part and get more focus and more clarity on our dreams, our goals, and our vision that we seek out to do. So yes, it was nice. Appreciate it, BB.
Amazing. Thank you so much for the feedback. It's very much appreciated. Um, my tonality, right? That's how it feels to me. So that's how I like to do it because I think it's more immersive. Everybody has their own way of doing techniques, right? This is
Right?
how it speaks to me, and I believe that like owning our truth is
Yes.
what makes it more valuable. I really immensely appreciate the feedback. Thank you so much. And I'm so glad that you got like that it was a good and effective tool for you. And yes, that's why I chose to use this, right? I could have chosen many different things, but I think this is such a powerful thing that I could gift you all into making a big jump because it is a big change into seeing things through a perspective of fear to going into love. And that brings me out to wearing love lenses.
And
So,
B and BB, BB,
mhm,
I'm going to borrow that technique from you and implement it into my trans work also as a gift to my client. Give them the gift of that meditation.
beautiful. Beautiful. Yes, please do so. I think like the more people we can reach, right? Is what we can do. And it's such a powerful technique. So yes, if you want I can give you the script and all. Okay?
Yes, do that. Uh,
Perfect.
DM me.
I will. I will. And I believe my mission in life, right, is healing the world one soul at a time. So I believe in collaboration. I work. I believe in sharing gifts, and I believe that we can all impact the world differently. And when we work together, we can make that happen even more. And I think that is just amazing. So thank you so much, Tony. Amazing.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah. So I talk a lot about love lenses. I don't know if you guys have heard me before on social media or whatnot. And it was about that explanation at the beginning of the hand, right? It is all about looking at that higher vibration. Putting love lenses on is not putting pink lenses on, which is just looking at the positive side of things and masking, hiding the rest away. I don't believe in that. I believe in using those things that I said before. Is about the behavior flexibility that you get by looking at it through loving eyes. So you can still see the truth, but you choose what you do to that truth and you see it through a better lens, like great gratefulness, gratitude, grace with yourself for having barriers, feeling empowered in your accomplishments, and I thank you all for participating in this, for the ones that spoke up. So good to hear that feedback. And it's all about that, right? We all experience life differently. But when you choose to experience through a higher vibration, you see more, you know more, you allow yourself to do more. So that's my love lenses spill. You're most gonna keep seeing me with my love lenses. Now and then, I'm just gonna take them off so I don't get a headache from trying to look at my computer while I have them on. Um, so now we are gonna talk about that gap between you now and the future you that you want. Gap, the big abyss that you gotta transpose to get to the other side. Our unconscious mind impacts most of our behavior, and we don't even know it unless we pay attention and learn about the unconscious. We call it subconscious because it's below the surface and we are consciously unaware of it. This is the bigger part of you. Our conscious mind is the smaller part of who you are. It represents about 10% of your being. It's like from my neck up. Wow. And our conscious mind is the goal setter, is the thing that tells us, or the thing that allows us to think of a goal, want to get it, decide that that's what we're going to go for, and set the goal. But our unconscious mind is are go getter. So if your conscious mind and your unconscious mind are not in alignment, it is then hard to get that goal. Your unconscious is all the rest of you. Your neck down, 90% of your whole being, and it drives your thoughts, your actions, your emotions, and how you behave and see the world. So if you set a goal with the conscious mind, but the unconscious mind is not aligned with that goal, or if there is some lies, the limiting beliefs behind it, maybe you don't believe you can, maybe it's too scary. Fight or flight kicks in and makes your life difficult and feeds the overwhelm. This is where the amygdala gets triggered by your sympathetic system, and your sympathetic system goes online, right? That's when we start feeling like our heart rate go up, we get flustered, things are like more intense. And like I said before, when the emotions go high, it is proven by um, physics, anatomy, medicine, that every time that the emotions go high by the triggering of the amygdala, the frontal lobe, which is the one that makes judgments, make calls, it's the rational part of your brain, capacity to work is decreased. So when your amygdala is triggered, increases your cortisol levels, which means that burnout and overwhelm are fed by those. That makes it harder for you to lose weight. That makes it harder for you to be able to engage in a meditation. That makes it harder for you to organize your day or even organize your mind. So instead, what we want you to do is reduce the stress, emotionally regulate yourself, and make decisions from ease and flow. Sometimes that might start just by taking a breath. Mindfulness is very, very big for that emotional regulation. Limiting beliefs are the lies that cause you to pursue an illusion instead of pursuing what is really, really yours. The illusion that you can control anything besides yourself. Hmm. This alone is a big influencer for the feelings of overwhelm. Mental calm is reached through the premise of energetically choosing the things that populate your mental space. I moved these slides too fast. Most of those who identify as having too much to do or some sort of overwhelm have at least one limiting belief running under the surface. And there is a very highly probability that is one of those either or beliefs that I spoke about before. The only controllable variable that we can actively and fully impact is ourselves. And realizing that your choice, your daily choices, your conscious choices can decrease your choice overload, which is what happens when people are in burnout or in overwhelm. They have so many choices, they can't even decide what to eat for lunch because there's that mental choice overload. By choosing and redirecting your energy only to worthy decisions, that makes a huge change. So, when we are thinking about that, this activity is you don't have to share. You can if you want to. It's just again to light that neurology up. And that's a huge question. What is the one thing you aren't doing that you know that you need to do to reach your goals? Does anybody wants to come up for this one?
Yeah. For me right now, I just picked up on your notes earlier from organizing. I think I haven't like organized, like made my plans clear. I'm just kind of winging it every day, like just do things that make me happy. But I think it's like trying to find that balance for me personally. That's what I want to work on.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. It's all about balance, right? It's all about what works for you, what makes your days better, what makes your life flow in a better way that agrees with you. That is amazing. Amazing. And a lot of times that one thing is the one thing that we don't even want to see, right? We don't even want to think about it. It's the thing that we always put at the bottom of the list if you have a to-do list. It's always like, I'll do that later, later, later. And sometimes months pass and you're like, yeah, yeah, I still haven't done that. And that's the one thing that will make the most impact now. And that's one of the biggest truths. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Anybody else wants to pop up? All right, so I'm gonna go for the next one. Now we're getting to the good stuff. Actionable steps. Oh my God, we're running a couple minutes late. Not a lot. So it's about knowing that your thoughts are happening. It's acknowledge that the thoughts aren't going away anytime soon. There are ways to quiet them down fast. You can work with a professional who speaks directly with your unconscious. Hi, I'm Bibi. I'm a trauma-aware transformational coach with a master's in nursing and education, evolved neuro-linguistic programming, timeline healing, and hypnotherapy. So we'll come back to that later. We all have negative and unsupportive thoughts, but it's how we respond to those thoughts that counts. Your unconscious mind sees no difference between the imagined and the real. That's why visualizations are so powerful. Whenever you catch a thought that does not serve you surfacing, you have a choice. And that's beautiful. A thought can dissipate in 10 seconds as long as you choose to let it go. On the other hand, allowing yourself to dwell over it makes it grow. We marinate in whatever we ruminate on. I can say that also as what we dwell on, we immerse ourselves in. And it's so true. When we ruminate on certain thoughts or feelings, we essentially give them power. We are giving them our attention and our energy, and we allow them to linger in our minds. This process can lead to deep emotional engagement with those thoughts, akin to marinating food and letting it sit there, where the flavors develop and get intensified just because they're soaking in it. This intensifies feelings, reinforces thoughts, and leads to influencing our actions. Sometimes even the somatization of some reactions. Some intense emotions manifest physically, like I said about my hands before. Choosing to focusing on negative thoughts can make you less engaging or more reactive in social situations and in any kind of relationships because once again your brain is not fully functional at that time. You're being guided and driven just by emotions. Emotions are very, very important, but lots of our emotions come from prehistorical times, not prehistorical, but like very long time ago when we live in the jungle and we had to run from predators, and any noise should startle you because you needed to be aware of your surroundings all the time because your life was constantly in danger. Now we don't live like that anymore, but that's how our anatomy still works. So choosing to focus on uplifting and empowering thoughts foster a richer and more fulfilling emotional experience. Reprogramming, that part I love. Your brain is a supercomputer that follows pre-programmed directions. It believes that what you tell it the most, what you repeatedly say to yourself matters. It is not science fiction, it's factual science. For many years, I've been fascinated by the human brain and by its adaptability. This passion led to a big professional growth and being a respected source on my field. As a neuro ICU expert, I trained many providers in searching for excellency, in knowing the human brain, how it works and how it impacts us, and how it heals after receiving damage. I used to say you may take ICU for the people that would come and learn ICU, neuro ICU, that you can take it as a charting nightmare because yes, you gotta chart way more than in other areas in the nursing profession specifically, but you get such a beautiful chance to look and learn about human resilience. The human brain has an amazing power, which is called neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity means that when neurons fire together, they wire together. And your brain, no matter your age, can always make those connections. So, once again, it's all about the connection part, right? Is the connection inside of your brain, the connection with you, the connection with the people around you, and the world around you. Your self-talks shapes your brain, which shapes your beliefs, which drives your behavior, which creates your thoughts, your feelings, and your experiences. Therefore, it creates the totality of your reality. Rewire your brain to work in a different way. So I'm going to give you a way of doing that on your own. It's something that you can practice and use it right away. When an unsupportive thought pops up and you notice it, use it the three C's. Catch it, check it, change it. Catch it. You already done that, right? Because you noticed that thought. You're like, is that true? Like, what is that coming up? Example, I always mess things up. What? So you caught it, right? Then you check it. Do I? Do I always mess things up? Do I never get anything right? No, I get a lot of things right. And then or other questions like when was the last time I did something right? Oh, I did something right today. I was on time for this. Right? Like for me timing is big. I don't know if I said it before. I have a huge time blindness. So like making on time for appointments and getting everything set up for me it's a huge deal. So that is the part of the changing, the checking it, right? And then you change it appropriately. So, well, I may mess up sometimes, but I get a lot of things right.
Não
Or
para,
I
cara.
do well. Guys, please, someone is
Vai, vai no
unmuted,
pé.
I think. Ok, licença? Pode botar mutado? Sorry. All right. I think that's done. Okay. Um, sorry, I lost track of time. Track of my thoughts. I'm getting back to it. So you go back, right? You're changing it. So I already noticed that I don't mess up all the time. I mess up sometimes, but I do get other things right. So that's already a reframing, right? Or, well, I do well most of the time, even if I messed up this one thing. So it's thinking this instead of that. Because this is way more true than that is. And it's all about that. It's always about looking for your truth because your truth is what resonates with you. The I call it the peaceful shift that brings a blissful gift. Because the gift is that decreased mental load and the clarity to do things. So if you think that you still need to like work more misaligned thoughts, um, you can also put a mental note to do it later. Like if you have done the three C's and you're still like, I'm not there yet. Like I still, it still feels like there is something to work on, but like I don't have the time to do it now. You know what? I can set up a time at Monday at 3 p.m. I'll give it 10 minutes and I'll analyze that. But at least you're not letting that overwhelm and take you now. You do that analyzing by journaling or however it is that you analyze things your way. So, when we're talking about designing a business around your life, I mean, don't do don't do your life around the business. The business is what you do. Your business or your work is not who you are. So, what is your driving force to do what you do? That's more of who you are, right? I know that for me, it's family. Is spending time with my son, is spending time with my partner, is having all the experiences that those relationships bring to enrich my life. That for me matters. When you get to your final days, what will it be that you're gonna be thinking about? Is it your money? Is it the business that you built? Is it the meetings that you did? Or is it all the experiences that you've created for yourself? Like the life that you actually lived instead of worked, right? When you're in a relationship, you're investing in it daily. Is a conscious choice to make that work. So, implementing and aligning. To implement the business around your life in alignment with your why, or some people call it the North Star, is that one thing that drives you, is that one thing that's guiding you to do that, is the reason what you're doing it for. And when you do that, you know, to do that, you need to have healthy boundaries. You need to make the time. You need to prioritize being present. You need to invest on those you love, including yourself. So sacrificing your health, sacrificing your personal life, sacrificing your sleep. Is that in your best interest? Is that aligned with your truth? If you want more ways of implementing the changes, to have more time for what matters for you the most, stick around. I have a surprise for you at the end. I love it. As you can see, I love giving, right? Like for me, it's a big part, but it's all about finding that place when I can give from an overflow, and that allows you to keep giving in a way that you're still doing good for yourself while you're giving to others. So now we're getting into the making the commitment. Do you guys have that little piece of paper that I spoke about? If you don't, you can use your phone, whatever it is that works for you. But like writing it down or putting it down, the visual thing of doing that and the action of doing it matter. So please, I'll ask you to do it for yourself, okay? It is very important to keep the promises you make, especially the ones that you do to yourself. This is why I would recommend you making this commitment today to your future you, so you can become that person. Now you're clear on what the number one thing holding you back is and why it's happening. And you might want to still answer some of these questions. What does it take to finally fix this problem? How bad do things have to get for me to do what I've been saying I will do, right? What does it take for me to do the hard work that benefits me? What does it take for me to position myself for success regardless of anyone else? What does it take for me to choose me? Right? And now we're going to get into that activity. and it is to write that commitment to yourself. Write it on piece of paper, or you can type it up if you want, but I want you to put it down and either sign it or do a digital signature, something that is showing you that you're committing, really, 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 truly committing to do that, because that's what's going to propel you towards change. Write a commitment to yourself to become the person you saw today that is possible for you to be. So I'm gonna give you guys a couple minutes if you're writing down, and I'll keep talking a little bit. If someone wants to come back, come up at the, and share, you're more than allowed to. You don't have to, but I'll give you guys more time to finish this. So I have coached around 300 souls so far by the time that this workshop is happening. Almost every one of them have told me that knowing that someone else knows that they are committing to themselves, it's very helpful. And it goes a long way. And it also benefits from that accountability part that you get a lot of times for coaching, from mentoring, or for having friends that are going through the journey and you're talking with them about it, right? Like it's just having someone in your corner. So just to make this a little bit bigger, as soon as we guys are all ready with that, I want us to all put our commitments on, we're gonna raise it up, put in front of our cameras to show that we're doing this. We're committing. We're doing it. Okay? I've been doing mine too. All right. So I'm going to ask, I think the easiest way is going to be ask if you're ready, if you finished your commitment. If you need more time, just put your hand up. And then I'll know that there's still people needing more time and we'll wait. I just don't want to take, wait if you're all done. I cannot see everybody on my screen at the same time. So anybody else needs time? If not, I'm going to move along. I don't see any hands popping up. Okay, beautiful. So, you guys ready? Let's share our commitments to ourselves. All right, beautiful. I have mine too. Everybody at the same time, let's do this. Let's show that we're committed to doing this. And we are not judging anybody's commitment. We're just being here to support each other. Yes, yes, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you guys for participating. Now, just doing a recap. Here's what we said we're going to do during this workshop. Learn the number one reason overwhelm leads to burnout and how to finally stop it, right? Not knowing that you're there and you keep doing and you keep going and doing all the things. Why sacrificing more only makes life in business worse? All the sacrifices we talk about, right? My 5 steps process to begin to create a life and business of balance and ease. And now the abundance is coming. Hold on, tiny bit longer. There are There are two options for going on your journey. You can do it alone or you can get support. And both are completely and totally fine depending on where you are at this moment and depending on how fast do you want to reach your destination. Because you can take your time doing by yourself. When you get that support, when you have that helping hand, by having an outside person that is impartial and is looking into your life, your ahas, and all the things that need to happen, then they just happen 10 times faster. So it's always about choice. Okay? I hope you all got a lot during this presentation. I thank you for choosing to be here with me today. I really appreciate you investing your time and your personal growth. This is one thing that we cannot take back, right? Time. So time is extremely, extremely valuable. Thank you for choosing to be here. My gift to you for doing this with me is I will be giving you some of my time. So that's my way of giving you a helping hand so you can move along in your journey faster. Now that you made that commitment to yourself, you're in time for action. There's no strings attached. It's a my be in flow experience. I will be 100% in service of you, of you. This is not a sales call. I will be there to assist you to make changes to impact your life. And that's what I do day in and day out with my clients. And I love doing it. And by the way, it does feel my love tank too. So I want to help you to move forward. Please drop that link in the chat, Nelsito. Nelson's putting the link in the chat. If you want that help, if you want to move farther, if you want to move faster, click the link on the chat. Book your call now. It's free. I'm giving this to you so you can move along faster on your own journey. And I forgot, but please, when you do it, when you book your call, just let me know. I don't have that many spaces available because my calendar is quite booked. So I need to know where we are at. Whenever you book that call, very simple, go in, you answer 3 questions. Only 2 are mandatory. You're going to show up, and do you want a Zoom or a phone call? That's the only thing you got to answer because I want to help you to make this fast, make this happen for you. And that is my commitment to myself, right? That's why I created this workshop, is to help you. And if I'm looking up, it's because I have multiple screens and I'm trying to see people's faces while I'm doing this. So don't mind me looking at different places, all right? So again, once you book it, please let me know that you did so I can keep track of it. And now let's explore what other people have said, what other people have to say. Georgia, love, would you mind coming out and saying a few words for me?
Yes, I would love to. Um, Working with BB is magical. She, as you can hear, her voice is very soothing, especially when she's doing the meditations and hypnosis. She's very intuitive and very compassionate when she's talking with you. So it's always a safe place to be there with her. And she does such deep work. So I encourage all of you to book a call with her and get to know more about her if you don't already know her, because believe me, it is pure magic.
Thank you. Truth bumps all over. Thank you. That was amazing. Thank you. Chris?
Yes, I jotted
Oh,
some stuff down because I just don't want to forget anything. Um, BB is like honestly my favorite person to work with. She helped me through a really, really hard stuck time in my life. I've never been with a coach who's more real, committed, compassionate. She never shames you because that's a big deal for me. That's a huge trigger for me. And I know I was sort of saying at one point, like, well, I made my own bed and now I have to lay in it. And her response was, but you love your bed. It was like so true. And I loved that. Like I'll always remember that. And she's right. I did love the bed that I made, even though it wasn't, being helpful at that moment. She encouraged me to keep going. She also goes above and beyond to help you. I mean, she's just always sending you exercises, just really educated, knows her stuff. And there's not a person out there that would be more committed. And yeah, I love you. Thanks, BB.
that's
So
amazing.
helpful to
Thank
me.
you. Oh my God, I might start crying here.
All
I
true.
didn't like. Thank you. You guys are amazing. Amazing. Thank you, babe. I would be doing those hearts too. I just can't reach the computer to like because I'm presenting. But there's lots of love. You guys are amazing. If anybody else wants to come up, see, this is filling your love tank. Like, and by the way, just being able to receive compliments and really accept them with a open heart, that for me is it's a growth. Before I used to dismiss them, and now they feed my soul. So thank you all for being here, for doing this. I do appreciate you guys coming up. Beautiful, beautiful. And just make sure you book that call. Being flow experience. It's all about you. I mean, like, I love doing this. I hope you can tell, that I love doing this. I really do. And I want to change the world. I really do. And I believe in starting in with one soul at a time. Book that call. That is your start. I'm there for you.
I just want to say one more thing, BB, for anyone who hasn't experienced her, when you book, if you get on a call with her, you will get so much value out of that 1 hour. You will learn so much about yourself, and it's so worth it. A lot of times we don't want to open Pandora's box. We don't want to look at the things that we don't want to look at because they're so hard. But when you have somebody come up beside you like BB, it's a beautiful thing. You'll feel a lot of release.
Thank you. And that is very true. Very true. It's that perspective that I was talking about before, right? And I think you guys also noticed that I was someone from from my story, right? I was someone that did not believe in support, did not believe that I needed support, could not ask for it. You don't have to ask. I am giving it, so it's easier for you. I made it as simple as you can as it can be to get that support to help you to move along. So thank you. My pleasure. The workshop is completed now. Thank you so much, everybody that has been here.